Now we're going to talk about rounding decimals. Rounding decimals is very similar to rounding a regular number. The only difference is there's a decimal point in the place on your number. So we're going to start with simply some digits here. So we of course have 7 and 39 hundredths. Now I like to round this number to the nearest tenth. So the first thing I would tell you to do is, if you're writing it down, is when you have the number written, you need to underline the place that you want to round. So I want to round to the nearest tenth. Then you're going to circle all the numbers to the right. So if there was more than just the 9, we'd circle them. So why I circle this is this reminds me that this number is going to change to a 0. So the way we do it is we have 5 or more, raise the score, or some people will say let it soar, 4 or less, let it rest. Well, many people have seen on your number line, like right here you can see, it's like a hill. So when you're going up the hill to 5 and then down to 10, well, once you get to 5, it's at the top, you actually slide to 10. But if you are anywhere before the 5, you slide back to the 0. So when you're here, this is a 3. So this 9 is more than 5. And so therefore we're going to raise this to a 4. And then we're going to change, or erase is how I do it because it's whiteboard, and this is going to turn into a 0. So the answer is actually 7 and 40 hundredths. Or if it was to the tenths, do we have to keep zeros? Nope, they're just placeholders, so it's 7 and 4 tenths. Okay, let's try another problem. We're going to go into the thousandths this time. All right, let's round this to the nearest whole. So the nearest whole, another name is obviously 1. This is a whole. Everything behind it is a decimal or fraction. So if we are going to be rounding it, I'm going to rewrite my thing so I can mark up my paper. We're going to be rounding it to here. I underline that first. I'm going to circle all the remaining numbers. And we're going to look at the one to the right. If it is 5 or more, I raise the score. 4 or less, I'm going to let it rest, meaning I'm going to keep it the same. So it's going to stay at 5, but all these will change to zeros. Now, if I'm rounding it to the nearest whole, do I have to have all those zeros? No, I actually can just take those off as well. So if I round, it's actually, the answer is 5. Let's try a third problem. Okay, so we've been practicing reading our decimals. Let me erase my old problem here. We've been practicing reading our decimals, and this problem, or this number, is actually 16 and 0. Did we say 0? No. So 16 and, we read it in threes, 97 thousandths. So I'd like to actually round to the nearest hundredth. So when I'm rewriting it, I'm going to just write the regular number. Since I'm rounding to the hundredth, I'm going to underline it, circle the one to the right. Every number next to it will turn to a 0. We look at this number here. If it is 5 or more, we're going to raise the score. Well, this is more. So I'm going to change this, which 9 becomes a 10. And obviously I can't put 10 in here. So I'm actually going to put the 0 here, and I have to bump the 1 over here to the tenths place, and then I can erase this. Now, do I need to keep these zeros at the end? Nope, I can just erase them. If I'm rounding it to the nearest hundredth, the answer would be 16 and 10 hundredths. Now, if it says to round to the nearest hundredth, should I keep that 0? I would. All right, I hope this helps you round. If you have any questions, let me know.